Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Armscor University. I am John McLean, the National Training Manager for Rock Island Armscor. And on this episode, we're going to talk about what is new and innovative and different about some of the products that we're releasing through Rock Island Armory, Rock Island Armory USA, and Rock Island Armory Imports. So I can't get my presentation up and running right now for whatever reason. So that portion is going to have to be cut into the video that I'll be sending out a little bit later on today. However, we can still discuss it, and once you get the other email, you can watch this video and see the pictures of what I'm talking about. Now, let's get started with the first three, which are not necessarily anything entirely new, but what is new is that there's different calibers available. Okay, so if you know anything about the Rock Island Armory stainless steel line of pistols, we have expanded. So instead of just being in 45, we now make a Rock standard 1911 frame, stainless steel 1911 full size in 10 millimeter, and that's going to be a single stack configuration. And then we have a Rock stainless steel 1911 full size and compact size in 9 millimeter now. So now we have 9 millimeter, 45, and 10 millimeter in options across the board for our stainless steel versions of pistols. From there, we expanded the Baby Rock 310 line to not only be 45 ACP, but now we have a 9 millimeter version available as well. What you will notice is that even though it's a 9 millimeter, the magazine capacity is still limited to 10 because of those states that require silly things like that. The base plate of the magazine has a bumper in it or a limiter in it that if you were to take out, then you'd be able to put more bullets in that magazine. So just keep that in mind for anyone that might be interested in the 310 in 9 millimeter but wants to add more capacity, because that's kind of one of the reasons why we want to go with a smaller caliber, is to gain more capacity, right? From there, one firearm that we've launched but we haven't started shipping yet is going to be the LI 380. So this is a double action, single action, compact conceal carry firearm chambered in 380 ACP. It's a heavy enough firearm between the slide and the frame, yet you have a pretty comfortable plastic grip to help kind of cut down on those costs. And I believe if I'm not mistaken, the capacity on that is 7+1 for the LI 380. So that's one of the new ones that is going to be coming out of Rock Island Armory. As far as RIA USA, this is the gun that I know everyone probably is interested in, wants to talk about, wants to get their hands on, and that's going to be the 5.0. So we will go into much more depth about the 5.0 a little bit later on, but just know that the two versions we have right now are an iron sight version and the Seymour red dot compatible version. There is not a version that has both that the customers can be able to choose from, and those are actually exclusively only available through advancedtactical.com. So if you haven't been able to find it through your distributors, that's because we haven't been shipping it to them yet, okay? However, the next version that we are currently working on will be shipped out to distributors. So even if you don't get your hands on any of these limited edition runs with the custom serialized numbers and stuff like that, just know we are going to be launching a new version. And in that new version, that is going to have iron sights with a removable plate for multiple red dot options, not just the Seymour. Okay, so that's a little bit about those firearms right now. Now, when we talk about the tactical world of firearms, the VRPF 14, or the PF as in firearm, so I'm sorry, the VRF 14, not the VRPF. The VRF 14 was the one that we launched a couple years ago, and the VR vertical receiver, F stood for firearm, and then 14 because it had a 14-inch barrel. That came out, and it took a little bit of time to gain some traction, but we made it work. Okay, I think we did a really good job of marketing it, getting it in people's hands, letting them actually shoot it and realize, okay, this is not actually as bad or as scary as it may look right offhand or look when you see someone else shooting it or anything like that. Two of the new firearms that we've launched that expand on that line of the firearm genre is the PF14 and the VRPF14. So PF is a pump firearm. The VRPF is a vertical receiver pump firearm. So in the PF-14, you're going to have the standard feeding tube, loading tube, whatever you want to call it, that you would put your 12-gauge shells into, and then as you fire, you would physically have to pump the firearm. The VRPF-14 is going to be the same concept, except that instead of it using your standard shotgun feeding tube, it's now going to be running through the VR line of magazines. Okay, so those are two brand new firearms that we have out as well. And the keyword or the code word for this episode is, in fact, firearm. So make sure you write that down, keep that somewhere safe. We've got 2 more words to go, and then you can submit yourself to get a little care package from us here at Rock Island Armory. The last thing we're going to talk about today is the TM22. Now, TM totally metal is what that stood for, and then 22 because it was a 22 caliber rifle. We had a 18-inch version and a 20-inch version. We still have those. And then we also came out with a TM22 Realtree timber. So much like our line of shotguns, we have the same firearm with a little bit more extension on the hand grip, so we could cover more of the firearm with this camo pattern. And the camo pattern that we've gone with is Realtree timber, which is a very popular camo pattern, especially where I'm at here in Missouri. Works really well. One of the new firearms that we've released along the TM line isn't actually TM because it's not totally metal. Instead, it is a polymer version. But because of that, we were able to cut the cost down dramatically. MSRP on this gun, I believe, is $199, and that is going to be the TM22 Feather. That's right, Feather, polymer, lighter, easier to haul around with you all day, a lot easier for a junior shooter or a lady shooter to be able to hold up on their own without getting overly tired or exerted from shooting this firearm. And there's going to be some changes with the TM22 originally. That was just the rail on top that you would just mount an optic to and you were good to go. With the TM22, you actually kind of get the A2 style handle on the top of the receiver. And then there's that traditional AR-15, M4, M16, gas block / front sight post on the front of the gun. So right off the bat, you can actually start your junior shooter off by teaching them how to properly shoot using iron sights. And then if choose so down the road, you can mount some sort of an optic or anything like that. It does still run, it has 10 round, 15, and 25 round mags available. Those are also going to be polymer instead of being steel. And I do believe that because it's 22, when we ship them in, this is from Rock Island Armory Imports, when we ship them in, it has a adjustable stock on it as well. And the adjustability is not just for the length of pull, but also for your cheek weld as well. So kids having difficulty trying to get their faces or cheek welds properly on the rifle in order to get a good sight picture, you can make those adjustments for them and really get this rifle to fit them nicely. Okay. So with that being said, I think we just wanted to kind of keep this one pretty short and sweet, unless anyone has any questions for me. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Like I said, I knew this was a short and sweet video. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please make sure you email me, johnmclean@armscor.com. And I'll catch you on the next episode of Armscor U.